Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new chapter of my DxD Academia. And honestly, thanks a lot, guys. And sorry, once again, this is going to be the last chapter I'm going to be doing for this series for the time being. Like I said, I'm going to be doing some new high school DxD fics now that I feel free to do so myself, to be honest. As for the last chapter, I'm thankful for the support that you guys liked about me adding slash dog characters into this fanfic, to be honest, like Tobio. And don't worry, Tobio will be making more and more appearances as this series goes on. Trust me. Also, as for more MHA characters, don't worry, they're gonna be appearing more and more as this series goes on as well. I'm not just going to do like one and done characters after all. So just be patient, guys. Anyway, let's go to have a quick recap. After Azazel saved Izuku, he soon gave him the rundown about the supernatural, about the certain organizations, gods and pantheons, and supernatural creatures as well. Even explaining that of his sacred gear, dividing, being a Longinus sacred gear, created by the God of the Bible to help humanity defend from the supernatural. As Azazel gave Izuku options to choose the faction he should join, given that if he's alone, he's just going to be attacked and seen as a problem by certain supernatural figures after all. But Izuku wants to take his time about choosing a faction, choosing a side, to be honest. Hearing this, Azazel decided to give Izuku some training and some tips on to improving himself, such as help finding out ways to use that dividing for combat perfectly, learning from Barrakill how to use that of magic, especially that of lightning magic and wind magic, and surprisingly, holy lightning magic as well, and developing his new fighting style from that of the wingless cadre of the Gogori, Tobio IQs, and leader of the Slash Dog teams, and wielder of Canis Lichion, along another Longinus sacred gear. As his training goes on for almost an entire year, with Izuku improving quite a bit, to the point that both Azazel and Tobio see Izuku as somebody that has quite a bit of potential as growing as a white dragon, as this current generation's white dragon emperor. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 3, I Want to Be a Hero. Months have now passed since Izuku met with that of Azazel and Tobio, and he's been basically studying his own training. Not only that, Azazel and Tobio did tell him to also build up his own body as well by doing workout routines. By doing so, his body would properly acclimate to that of his not just his fighting style, but also his sacred gear. With a stronger body allows that of Izuku to have that of stronger attacks as well. Not only that, it also could help him control his magic a lot more better too, from Barrakill too as well. And that, Izuku, unfortunately, his height is still the same. He's basically still 5'5", especially now in his third year at Aldera Junior High. However, on the upside, though, he's a lot more muscular than he would be, especially if he was in MHA. Let's just say he went a little bit overboard on training himself day in and day out. And let's just say Azazel did have to check out on Izuku from time to time, given that the kid does overwork himself. But even so, that overworkingness basically led to him having quite a muscular physique, even to the point that his school uniform that he always wore was a lot more tighter on him than before. But even so, he didn't let it bother him. Well, it did bother him soon after when Eika literally tried to do something quite un-PG-13 like to him on in an abandoned alleyway on the way to that of school. So yeah. Speaking of that, now that he's a third year and Aika is now becoming a high schooler, instead of going to that Mizuni High, instead she applied to that of Kuo Academy. Well, not really she necessarily did, but her parents did. To them, they believed that going to Kuo would be a good way for her to, mellow out, actually. Instead of sexually harassing boys and all the time, and possibly girls too, but not on the same level. But little did they know, her parents basically sent her to a place that allowed co-ed. There's still a large majority of female students and only some male students, but even so, it's still the same. As for Izuku's time in Aldera, at first, people thought that they could basically do the exact same thing as they did before, now that since Eika's now gone to Izuku, especially Bakugo. However, that wouldn't happen. First day at Aldera Junior High, with Izuku walking into the school, as then soon one of Bakugo's lackeys, like the same kid from before when they were younger, and used to be friends with him, but was only friends with Izuku because Bakugo was within him screaming out, "Hey, it's Deku!" Look, hey, since his bodyguard is gone now, I think it makes it easier to, basically mess with him like before. Within hearing this, Bakugo couldn't help but smirk. But then, looking at Izuku, he realized that his shoulders are a lot more broader than they were before. He's not slouching as before too, and he doesn't seem like he's, not as timid as before too. However, just seeing this more confident Izuku couldn't help but piss off Bakugo. Within stomping over to the nerd, within saying, "Hey, damn Deku!" Within, Izuku jumps up a little bit saying, "Hey, Kachan, what's up?" Within saying, "You really think you can just walk into the school all confident like you think you own the place?" Saying, "What? No, that's not what I was saying." Just let you know, just because that damn perverted bitch Kiryu isn't here doesn't mean a damn thing. You're back to the bottom and beneath everyone else like you were before. At least you don't have to have that a perverted loser looking after you anymore. Within, Izuku's lackeys couldn't help but laugh. Within, Izuku narrowing his eyes at the one person that actually looked after Izuku after all this time, and that he secretly has a crush on, even though he doesn't want to admit it, because again, it's Aika. Within saying, "Hey, you have no right to talk to her about that. You can say what you want about me all you want, Kachan, but leave her out of this." Within, Bakugo saying, "Oh, big shot Deku trying to talk big. Listen here, you." Within, he was about to grab for Izuku's collar. However, Izuku basically bent Bakugo's arm down to the ground as he begins to be wincing. Within, soon, Bakugo tries to punch Izuku with his left arm. Within, Izuku dodges out of the way before low sweeps Bakugo. As he soon falls on the ground, within, many of the students couldn't help but, look down and see what had happened. As then, Izuku, within the two lackeys were about to step in. However, Izuku, on the other hand, unleashed a little bit of his pressure onto that of the two lackeys. Only a bit of his magical pressure, which was enough to basically force them to, back off for a bit. As for Bakugo, on the other hand, he didn't care about the pressure, even though it did make him feel uncomfortable and somewhat terrified. He wouldn't accept it. Far from it, he would accept something like this, ever. As he begins to growl, within soon, the teacher shows up saying, "What the hell is going on here?" With then, Bakugo basically getting annoyed that a teacher basically stepped in before he could basically beat the living shit out of Izuku. Within, Izuku just walking away, as the teacher saying, "Hey, Midoriya, the hell was going? Don't you just walk away saying, "Sorry, teacher. Sorry, sir, but classes are about to start, and I don't like to be late on the first day back to school." As a third year, we had to set an example, right, Kachan? With then, after saying Kachan, but instead of a tone of somewhat timidness, scared, and worry, like always before, instead he almost said it like that of a pure and utter insult to Bakugo. With Bakugo began to growl even more like that of a feral animal. With then Izuku walking away. With then, as he enters into the school, Albion couldn't help but laugh inside of Izuku. And internally, Izuku couldn't help but feel somewhat down a little bit, saying, "Oh man, I can't believe I just did that! I did that to Kachan! What the hell happened?" With then, soon Albion laughing, saying, "So it's finally reacting after all these months. Man, that is quite something." Saying, "Albion," saying, don't worry, it's nothing too major. What you basically did there was that of a draconic aura." Saying, "Draconic aura? Wait, but I know about your dragon aura. I wasn't using it." Saying, "There are two types of dragon aura. The type that you've been using during your training with that of Azazel and that of his subordinates, a Barrakill and that IQ's kid, is known as Dragon Battle Aura. An aura so powerful and suppressive that any opponent would be shaken by it. Even if they're stronger than you, the aura alone would still suppress them as well. However, there's another type of aura called draconic passive aura. This aura basically shows that you are more and more a more dominant figure. It has that of certain it also changes your personality a little bit. Not too much, but just a bit where it would still kind of, make you quite a bit of aggressive, to be honest. And since I am the dragon of supremacy, I have to basically lord over my superiority over those beneath me, such as that Bakugo kid. And I had to be completely honest. None of my past hosts have been able to even use my power of supremacy. Not even the ones that were reincarnated by that of either the devils or the fallen angels. With then Izuku saying, "Wait, seriously?" Saying, "I am serious. You had to be one of the first." With then Izuku mentally comparing, saying, "Could it be this blood you and Azazel have been talking about?" Saying, "Could be. I still can't put my finger on what is your blood. What descended you come from?" Well, no matter. If it is because of that you're able to use my full title as that of supremacy, then maybe it's not too much of a bad thing. It could be. I don't want to cause any trouble for my teachers. Is there any way for me to suppress it?" Saying, within Albion saying, there is. You just need to learn. You already know how to use draconic aura for battle. But when you're not on battle, that will take time as well. Just need to focus and think happy thoughts. I think it's best that you take care of it now, because within, as Izuku still takes a breather, he soon notices that several girls in around that of his school, some that he knows, some that are lower classmen, and some that just came new to the school as first years, have been staring at him. However, instead of staring at him with that of look of, annoyance, pity, or that of, disgust, instead, they have that of new looks for him. With then, Izuku couldn't help but get a little bit nervous. With then Albion saying, when it comes to that of a draconic aura, certain women are attracted to it without even knowing why they are. So again, if you want to get a better hang of it, you better do it now. Within, Izuku couldn't help but get his entire face red, with everybody basically staring at the messy green net. As he puts his shoes away, and gets ready for his first day as a third year. During his time at Aldera, he still continues to train, no needing to be a slouch or holding himself back any time. As the first month of him back at Aldera comes pretty quick. As for suppressing his aura, let's just say there's quite a bit of an annoyance on that part. For example, over the time where he was trying to suppress it from here and there and all that, well, a few students from that of first years, second years, and even third years, especially certain girls that were on that of the fuck Izuku bandwagon, mainly to get on that of Bakugo's good side after all, began to confess to that of Izuku, sending him love letters, asking him out, and many other things as well. So yeah, let's just say Izuku had to turn them down every single time. And now, currently now, Izuku is known as the Heartbreaker of UA. But because of that, a few girls that basically, began to like Izuku because of his aura, began to make it that of a competition to prove that they can tame that of the Green Simon role of Aldera Junior High. And, of course, this did hit that of Bakugo's pride. Normally, he didn't really give a damn about any girls or trying to basically cozy up to them, because to him, they were basically nothing but a pain in the ass, to be honest. They were always just trying to cling on to him and just say that they're just as popular as Bakugo, which he can't stand, to be honest. But now that Izuku is getting popular with all the girls, it hits once again his fragile ego. And let's just say that month has been one strenuous one, always trying to suppress his, draconic aura, especially the passive version, after all. And but even so, the damage was already done, and Izuku has to live with the consequences. However, Azazel, on the other hand, let's just say the guy got a good laugh for almost an entire 2 hours, after all. And you could basically hear it all across the underworld. Even the devils could hear it too. After that, everything went somewhat normal back for Izuku, except one thing. On the way to the comic store the bookstore where Barrakill basically runs, he runs into that of a certain girl. At bumping into her, he soon noticed her figure and everything, and her uniform being a Kuo Academy uniform. Then Izuku began to blush and also apologize profusely, knocking into her, saying, Sorry, I didn't mean to do so. I should have seen where I was going," saying, Nah, it's my fault. I was actually rushing to my dad's construction site. I'm really sorry, too. Then Izuku getting a good look at the girl, as she has that of brown bob cut hairstyle with that of long bangs on the side of her face, with that of a pink rosy cheeks on her cheeks that give her that of an eternal blush, big round brown eyes, and quite the curious figure. However, what stands out the most is she has one hell of a butt, to be honest. Then Izuku began to blush even more. As for her, she has that of a confused and somewhat, thinking appearance. Within, she's saying, "Wait, could it be Deku? Deku, is that you? Or rather, Izuku Midoriya?" Within, Izuku's eyes widening, saying, "How do you know my..." Then, getting a good look at the girl, he soon sees her, but think younger. Within, saying, "Oh, Ochako-chan? Ocha-chan? Is that you?" Then she's saying, "Yeah, that's me. Oh my god, I can't believe it really is you." Saying, "Yeah, same. I did not expect this. How did you, or rather, when did you come back in town?" Then she's saying, "I've been back in town for almost a year now." Saying, "Wait, a year?" Saying, as she nods, saying, "Yeah, You, about a couple months back, about several months back, turns my parents basically got this huge job of making a big apartment complex here in town. Did you not hear about it? Say, within Izuku nodding, saying, well, yeah, I did think about that, but I didn't think much about it. I thought it was just going to be another hotel, to be honest. But to be honest, and I also should have realized within, remembering about a couple years ago, back when he was still training with that of Azazel and the others, he noticed a sign saying, building under construction of Uraraka Construction, tied with that of the Grubbery Conglomerate. With then, Izuku couldn't help but nod, saying, that's interesting. Uraraka. I haven't heard that name in a long time. With then, Albion saying, do you know it? Saying, yeah, it sounded like a friend's name, but I haven't heard from her from over that of 7 years. So it's just been a while, to be honest. With then, Izuku not even paying attention and walking away. With then, Izuku saying, oh my god, you were in town all this time and I didn't even notice? Well, what school are you going to? With then, looking at the uniform and realizing, you're going to Kuo, aren't you? Saying, oh yeah, actually, it's because of my parents' partnership with that at the Grummery Conglomerate that I was able to enroll into, Kuo Academy, into their junior high school. And my time at Kuo has been pretty amazing and fun. Well, there are the times about the annoying perverts though, but it's nothing too major. But I do feel bad for the girl. I did feel bad for the girls for that of the high school division though. I hear that they have it worse this year. With then Izuku basically wondering, saying, why is that? Saying, I hear there's a rumor about these 3 guys that constantly, talk about the girls and how hot they are and how much that they would, lay with them and all that. I even hear rumors that they even start peeping on, they see that of holes in that of certain changing rooms and start peeping on girls. With then hearing this, Izuku couldn't help but be somewhat disgusted and somewhat shocked that Kuo will allow this. With then Izuku saying, are you okay, Ochako? I mean, you don't say, oh, it's fine, I'm fine, trust me. Like I said, I'm a junior high student, especially since it's my 3rd year at Kuo Academy's junior high school after all. It's the high school girls that should be worried. But even so, I think they can handle it, especially with the discipline committee. Within, Izuku saying, discipline committee? Within, Ochako saying, oh, right, sorry, don't have much time to talk, but hopefully we all see each other again. See you, Deku. Within, Izuku basically waving his hand saying, yeah, see you, Ocha. Within, Izuku, Albion speaking, saying, I see. Within, Izuku saying, see what, Albion? You have feelings for this female. Within, Izuku's face went entirely red as he begins to flush, saying, oh, it's nothing like that. She's a childhood friend. I don't feel I have any feelings for her. It's just that. Within, Albion continue basically laughing at his, host, flusteredness, and enjoys doing it. Almost like that of a big brother trying to mess with that of his younger brother after all. As again, Izuku's relationship with Albion has grown quite a bit, even if it's only been just a year or so. In a way, Albion is like that of another mentor to Izuku, and a sense of comfort for that of the young brunette as well. With then Albion saying, messing with you has always been one of my favorite pastimes. However, I would keep your eye out around that girl. With then Izuku no longer blushed and frantic, within saying, why is that? Within him saying, there's something about her, something that's being suppressed for now. For the time being, try to keep your guard down as well. Within, Izuku saying, I think you're overreacting, Albion, but you never strayed me behind before. What's the chances of now? As Izuku still walks off, with an Albion internally thinking, Izuku, the reason I'm telling you this is because I'm afraid of telling you the truth. Is because that girl is a reincarnated devil. If I tell you this, this would break you. You fought against a stray devil and even a few stray devils here and there last year as well. If you find out that that she was turned into a devil as well, I'm afraid what you would do. You have that hero mentality after all. As much as stray devils do run for their masters and basically go berserk as well, there are some stray devils that basically are okay with their master after all, and okay with the things that they do to them and the things that they keep from them as well. It's just part of nature after all. With Albion sighing, saying, I just hope for you she has a good master after all, that she wasn't willing to go stray. With Izuku heading straight, getting closer and closer to that of the bookstore, within, he began to hear somebody screaming for help as Izuku, as his hearing senses basically are up the charts, as he focused mainly on his hearing for the time being, as he hears somebody screaming for help. Within soon, Izuku, not bother going to that of the bookstore anymore, before then heading to where the screaming is, as then Albion saying, Izuku, the hell do you think you're doing? Within saying, you can hear it too, Albion, don't you? Saying, yes, I do. However, you are also aware that you can't sense any demonic energy there. So that means it's no stray devil. It's just a human, a person in trouble. I don't know. I just need to make sure. Saying, do what you will, but don't do anything stupid. Just because you want to be a hero doesn't mean that you can. Within, soon, Izuku is trying to see what's happening as he begins hearing the voice scream again, as then seeing that of 3 adult men and one female that looks like that of wearing a Kua uniform. However, she doesn't seem like a high schooler. Could it be that she's possibly in the college division? Within, one of the thugs places his hand on her mouth. Within, soon having that of a knife at her throat, saying, don't do anything stupid. All me and my buddies just want to do is have a little bit of a good time. All we want you to do is stop screaming and stop yelling while each one of us have our fun with you. And after this, you'll be free to go on your merry way. How does that sound? With Did hearing all this, she couldn't help but begin to tear up and scared for her life. Within sued, Albion saying, well, you see it? It's just mere humans doing human things. Honestly, devils will do the exact same thing for pettier reasons just as much. Same thing goes for fallen angels too, and even gods as well. Now that I think about it, when it comes to the supernatural and humanity, we're all no different from one another after all. Within suit, Izuku was about to pull out his phone and call that of 1101, which is the Japanese version of 911 after all. But then he stops. Before then, one of the thugs began to rip off that of her school blouse alongside that of her bra as well, with even ripping off that of her, skirt. And next up would be her panties. Within, soon, Izuku pulling out something from that of his bag, as it being that of a sweatshirt, as he sometimes wear it from time to time if he decides to go out for training. Within, putting the hood on before using the sleeves to wrap around that of his neck, but making sure to keep some of the sleeves around that of his face to keep his mouth somewhat hidden. Within, soon, Albion internally thinking, Izuku, what are you? Within, he activates that of divine dividing. Within, soon, Albion realizing, Izuku, no! Don't you! Within, rushing into that of the alleyway without even bother thinking, as one of the villains basically turn her over before grabbing at that of grabbing at that of her panties before bringing them down. However, soon, with one solitary, powerful kick to that of the thug's head, however, still holding somewhat back after all, he soon sends the thug flying backwards. Within, soon, the other thugs, on the other hand, couldn't react fast enough, as Izuku basically punches another one in the gut before kneeing him in the face, knocking him backwards into the wall. As for the other one, once again, just like his two buddies, Izuku basically does multiple kicks to his body, to that of his stomach, his chest, his head, before a roundhouse kick to the side of the temple of his head as well, spinning him into the wall, knocking him out as well. With then soon the college student couldn't help but slide down to the wall, as then soon the hood is Izuku's hood alongside the sleeves still cover half of his face, as all you could see is that of his bright green eyes and the wings of dividing. As Izuku wanted to ask if she was okay, but finally catching up with his actions, his eyes widening in that of pure and utter adult shock, wondering what he just did. As again, just like before with that of the sledge devil, his body just moved on his own when he saw somebody in trouble. As his mind finally caught up for what he did, then flying away as fast as he can at Mach speeds. As for that of the Kuo college student, she couldn't help but grab that of her phone and what's left of her, torn clothing, and call the cops about what just happened. Within, soon, Izuku basically heading back to his apartment, getting in as fast as he can, closing the door. Within, his mom asking, "Oh, Izuku, how was your day? How was your day?" As closing the door as fast as he can, she's saying, looks like my baby is still... I wonder if my baby is having a better days lately. Last year seemed like he was a lot more joyous and happy, even if he did seem like he was pushing himself. Maybe I'll probably fix his favorite food, katsudon, today, if that would cheer him up. As Inko, a pudgy woman with surprisingly quite a bit of ample curves, around heading into the kitchen to help her son, to cheer up her son, especially since she doesn't have to work today after all. Within, Izuku actually pulling it within the wings of dividing coming out once again, as Albion speaks up loud saying, "Izuku, the hell were you thinking?" Saying, "I don't know. I just did it. When I saw her in danger, when I saw her in trouble, my body just reacted. It just moved on its own without me even thinking. And before I knew it, I had my sweatshirt around my head. I was basically kicking all the thugs were on the ground, and when I saw that of the victim, I wanted to say if she was okay. I wanted to know if she was safe, if she felt safe now, but I just left. I was too scared. Within, Albion couldn't help but sigh out loud once again before saying, "It seems you really do have the hero mindset, and not just your mind itself, but your body too. You have the very, very impulse action of wanting to help those in need, protect them, keep them safe. It also doesn't help about your former childhood friend Katsuki Bakugo putting in this idea of you being nothing but useless and pathetic, showing that you wanted to prove yourself. It's one of your biggest strengths to always push past your limits and want to succeed everybody's expectations for you. But it's also your biggest drawback because you basically see yourself as somebody beneath everybody else, that you think you have no worth, especially those around you." Within, Izuku couldn't help but kneel down and begin to tear up, hearing the words from Albion, before Albion saying, I'm not trying to be harsh here, Izuku. Partner, you need to understand that you can't always put yourself aside. The thing that you did, you used dividing in public. That girl saw my wings. She saw you basically knock each and every one of them out in blinding speeds that a normal human shouldn't be able to do. You do know that the one rule of the supernatural that everybody must follow is that no one from that of the mortal realm, no one of the modern age should know about the supernatural. The masses must stay ignorant to it. Azazel told you this. Barakil told you this. I am telling you this. You understand that, right, Sang? I get it. I get it, damn it, I do. With then, Izuku just frustrated, saying, but if I see somebody in danger, if I see somebody suffering, it doesn't matter if they're a supernatural person or a normal person or anyone or even somebody that could be my enemy the next day. If I see somebody in trouble, somebody who is suffering, somebody in pain, I can't just sit back and do nothing. With this, Izuku said, with great power comes great responsibility. My responsibility is for those who can't defend themselves. That's how I've looked up to superheroes like that of Spider-Man and many other heroes. For so long, I wanted to be them. Be a person that protects the innocent and give them hope and always protects them. That's what I've always dreamt of. That's always I only wanted. And even I still want it. And the first time when I first awakened you, when I took out the sledge villain, and I saved that guy from my school, you know what I felt? Joy. Happiness. I felt great that I was able to be a hero for the first time, even if it would have been my last. And even after, and now that I think about it, even after me using dividing and take care of those criminals in the alleyway, you know what I felt? And now that we're having this conversation, you want to know what I feel now, Albion? With Albion still quiet, letting Izuku finish. With Izuku saying, I feel happy again, knowing that she's safe, knowing that she was protected after all. Because that's the kind of hero I want to be. I want to be somebody that protects those in need, those who need to be protected, and those who can't fight for themselves or too scared to fight for themselves. That's what I want. And I understand how it feels, but even if something like this happens again, I'm going to step in, no matter what. With then hearing the conviction from his partner, with Albion sighing once more, as the eternal white dragon of supremacy sighs once more, as he couldn't help but have that of a tone of endearment, saying, "All right, you win, he's partner, you win. But if you are going to do this again, you're going to need something to keep your identity a secret. If the devils find out about this, you forget that this is devil territory. If they find out about this, they will see you either as a threat, a trespasser, or force you to join their peerages, or either kill you outright. You may be strong, but," within saying, I can't be overconfident. I know. It's what Tobio and that of Barakil told me as well. That's why I need to see almost every opponent possibly even stronger than me. Within, Albion saying, taking those lessons quite well. So if you do this whole crime fighting thing like the superheroes in your comics, if I recall, they have an identity. With then, hearing that, Izuku's eyes now widen in that of shock and surprise, before looking at the hoodie in his hands. With then, soon, as the months now go by, tales of a hooded individual with wings of bright light, basically takes care of the criminal underbelly of the town of Kuo, surprisingly, there's quite a bit of tons of sexual assault cases here in Kuo, to be honest, which is surprising but not surprising at the same time, given the people who run this town after all. Not only that, there are tons of criminals that basically hide behind that of, protection fees. Actually, there turns out to be that of a gang. There used to be that of thugs, basically, pushing protection fees onto small businesses in Kuo. And, little did anyone knows, these businesses had a small protector when the cops can't show up or can't do anything about it. The people, or in the victim, in that of the criminals, see that of a green blur made from that of bluish green lightning crackling everywhere. Before then, the figure disappears in a bright blue glow high up into the sky. As for many of the people in Kuo, on the other hand, as for the town people, such as that of a 20-year-old man that seems to be an everyday worker, would then say, a vigilante in Kuo? I heard the rumors, but no way in hell that's true, right? A shop owner that runs that of a flower store, as she looks like she's at least in her early 30s, she's saying, really? Actually, I've seen him a few times. There was these thugs that tried to, threatened to destroy my store if I didn't pay them protection fees, and they actually came here to help, and he just shows up in that of a bright blur. I couldn't really get a good appearance of him, but if I had to say, he almost looked like that of a rabbit. As for the families that live in Kuo, from a wife and husband, as they are basically out on the town for the time being, possibly on a date night, with the husband speaking, saying, I heard about this vigilante. Honestly, I think he's over his head. These are things that the cops should handle, not just some person trying to pretend to be a superhero or that of a super sentai in a town like this. Within the wife saying, honestly, if I think about it, he reminds me of this superhero from America that basically dressed like a bat. Batman, I think his name was. With the husband saying, yeah, I don't think we need any Batmans in this town. With an elderly couple, as the husband speaking, saying, honestly, I think it's a good thing. I've lived in this town almost my entire life as a young boy. On the outside, it does seem pretty peaceful, but it can be quite rowdy after all, especially when when the thing that makes this town famous was an all-girls school. Seeing a young man defending young girls is a good thing. Within the wife saying, I do agree. Young man always try. I could tell the young man now these days only think about trying to get laid or trying to get lucky. It's quite something. But I believe that this young man helping out this town is great. Within the interviewer saying, wait, you think he's a man? Within the elderly woman saying, yes, definitely. Within speaking with that of several people from that of schools, starting with that of junior high schools, with that of Aldera Junior High, with a few female students, male students, basically all together, within one female student saying, honestly, I think it's really ridiculous, but I did hear rumors that he mainly operates out in the night after all, especially around school hours. Within a male student saying, honestly, I do hear that he does operate in the daytime too. I mean, mainly before school starts as well. Within another female student saying, honestly, if somebody's trying to play superhero, I think they're really stupid. There are some things in this world you can't control, and crime isn't one of them. Within a male student saying, I wouldn't say that. If anything, I think it just proves that one guy that wants to help those in need is a lot more better. I mean, this school definitely needs it. As the interviewer goes to that of Kuo Town's second high school, Mizumi High, with then a female student saying, I actually did get a good look at him a little bit. It was about that. It was during a certain night, actually. He wore that of a green jumpsuit, I think, with that of boots. I think looked like steel toe boots, actually. He also had that of white gloves, and I think he also had that of he was wearing a hoodie that had that of rabbit ears, I think, with a metal mask around his face. To be honest, I thought he looked somewhat ridiculous, but after saving me, now that I think about it, it does look kind of cute on him. He looked like a middle schooler, I think. I think he was a junior high student by his size. Within a Kuo Academy, within a few of the students saying, as much as I hate to admit it, this new hero, people are calling him by the name Deku, to be honest, which is weird. Why would you call somebody Deku for being useless and a wooden doll? Within another girl saying, nah, I think it's supposed to be Dekiru, meaning for you can do it. Within saying, are you sure? I'm pretty sure people are calling him Deku. But I think Dekiru would fit a lot more better. But Deku does sound a lot more catchy though. And speaking to his first, the first person he ever saved, being that from the girl from the college course of Kuo Academy, as she spoke up saying, at first I didn't notice him, but I did notice his bright green eyes. And honestly, he was quite amazing, powerful, something out of a Western comic book or a manga with that of a shonen protagonist. To be honest, I really hope I can see him again. I really would like to thank him in person. I see. Thank you for what you've told me. As the person speaking, being that of a girl with that of long blonde hair, with that of bright blue eyes and a mole under the left side of her eye, as she has quite the, curvaceous figure, not too busty like other girls at Kuo Academy, but a body perky enough to get quite a bit of attention, with also a bit of muscle to her as well. As this girl being Yuki Kiba, as she soon walks away, she soon arrives at an abandoned schoolhouse, the old schoolhouse that used to be the former Kuo Academy, now just gathering up dust behind the school. But now it has become that of the occult, a certain club room's HQ, a club known as the Occult Research Club. Entering in that of the somewhat darkened room, within seeing that of Rias Cremery Akino Himejima, a girl with that of white hair, a black cat hairpin in her hair, as she looks quite petite. Surprisingly, Ochako, and a girl with that of periwinkle blue hair, with that of a somewhat eternal smile on her face, as she basically constantly kicking her legs over and over again, with then Yuki basically stepping into the room, as then Rie is speaking up saying, so, did you gather the intel that we needed, Yuki? With then, she basically bows her head while also having that of her hands behind her back, saying, of course, Chief, but from all the research I've gathered, some think he's an urban legend, some say that he's real, while some say that they've seen him, while some think that it's somebody just out of their mind. But from the ones that have basically seen him, it always still comes back to a person wearing green, and some even say that they are able to see that of bright lightish blue-green energy coming off of them, which means that there's somebody from the supernatural. Could be a human with that of us who awakened a sacred gear and is using it. With then, Akino couldn't help but still having that of a fake smile, saying, oh my, it seems that we have that of a troublemaker in your territory, Rias. Within, Rias couldn't help but sigh, saying, "It's not just my territory, Akino. It's also Sona's. And remember, Sona's also doing her own research as well. Once we compare our notes together and the things that we have heard from everybody around town, we'll compare them together. But still, to think that somebody can play superhero in my territory." Within, soon, Ochako raising her hand saying, Chief, can I ask you something? Within, she looking at the brunette, saying, "Of course, speak your mind, Ochako. You're free to." Saying, "Okay, thanks. Can I ask, why are we so interested in him? I mean, if he's doing good around the town, shouldn't we just leave him be?" Within, everybody looking at the brunette. Before then, the periwinkle blue-haired girl, known as Nejire Hado, a second year just like that of Rias and Akino, speaking up saying, "Oh, Ochako, that's normally I would think this. I thought the same thing, but over time I've realized this could be a problem for the supernatural. Especially, remember the number one rule that all supernatural beings must follow: to keep the secret that we exist. People must see us as nothing but legends and that of figures from that of folklore, after all. If people think that we're real, who knows what would happen? And if a person is using their sacred gear or magic to basically put away that of to do that of human crimes, it could bring the supernatural down on him, and he could basically go to the people as well. We're able to basically manipulate people's memories as both within the supernatural, but even so, it could still cause a trouble. And most people prefer not to have to use magic like that all the time. With then hearing this from that of her senior, especially in that of the peerage, within Ochako couldn't help but nod, saying, "I understand. I was just curious because, well, I think he's just doing good for everybody. Just wanting to help those around the town that the police can't handle or that we don't do. I think it's not all bad after all." With then hearing the words from that of Ochako, within Nejiri saying, "But I do agree with you on that one, girl," as she has that of a big bright smile on her face, with her eyes closed. With then, Rias couldn't help but sigh, but also smiling, saying, all right. Thank you, Yuki, for all the information you've given me. With this, I'll be able to give that of Sona information, and she gives me her information as well. We just need to make sure to stop this vigilante Deku that could cause a rift within the supernatural. Hearing the words from their king, all of them say, "Yes, Chief." Back with Izuku, as once again finishing another night of patrolling and getting back into that of his room quietly. As turns out, however, instead of going through through the front door of his apartment, he actually, from Albion, he basically learned a new technique. It's known basically teleportation magic, but unlike normal teleportation magic, Albion basically told Izuku that he could use one of his, energy-like scaled wings to basically create that of a fragment to where he's been at. And he's able to teleport back to that fragment without any lag whatsoever, which makes patrolling even more easier for Izuku, especially if he needs to get back home quickly. He can just pretend that he came into the door without any struggles after all. With then, at putting away his costume and then getting ready to get a bath, as Izuku talking with Albion saying, "This was a pretty good time. Honestly, I've done so much in just 1 year that I feel like I'm really making a difference here in Kuo. Who knew that there was so much crime here? Seriously, this is devil territory. Shouldn't they be helping the people?" Within, Albion speak up saying, Ah, so you finally asked that after all these months. The devils don't help the humans here. Their main duty is to basically spread their influence around the town. Devils take, if I recall from one of my hosts that ended up being a reincarnated devil about that of 3 centuries ago. Turns out devils that have territories in that of the human world, or the mortal realm, as some people like to call it, don't really take care of petty crimes or criminals or anything like that. Their main duty is to basically spread their influence for people they basically make contracts with mortals or with other supernatural creatures to grow stronger. If I recall, they used to, take the human soul, but after a while, they decided to do things by doing that of menial tasks and chores, after all. But I'm not sure about nowadays. Seeing that this is supposed to be Citri and Grimory territory, within Izuku cutting off Albion saying, if there are 2 kings running this town, shouldn't one of them take care of the affairs here in town, such as the criminal element, while the others basically, do the whole contracts as you say? Saying, within Albion saying, like I said, it's not that simple. Just as I said, devils have to make contracts with the people here. Sure, they can make contracts with that of a human being that wants to get rid of the, criminals that you have taken care of or get revenge on them, then they'll do it. But if doing it out of the goodness of their heart or taking care of the people here, no, not so much. If anything, it's those within their peerage that matter and those within in their own race that matters. Humans, on the other hand, devils could care little about. Within hearing all this, Izuku couldn't help but clench his fist, saying, and if that's the case then, if the devils won't help the innocent people in this town, then I will. I'll protect this town no matter what. This is my home. And once I graduate from high school, I probably don't plan on going to college after all. Mom and I are struggling enough for money, even with Dad's help. I'll just travel all across Japan. Using dividing, I'll be able to go anywhere, help out as many people as I can, save as many lives as I need to. If anything, it's everything I've always wanted to do as a kid. And this is the start. With Izuku smiling, as then Albion couldn't help but sigh. However, he had that of a smile saying, you're too pure and good-hearted for your own good, Izuku Midoriya. But once again, I'm lucky to have a weird and also interesting partner, such as you. Let's continue doing what you've been doing. Continue being a hero. With hearing the words from Albion himself, Izuku couldn't help but smile as he continues moving forward as the hero he's always destined to be. With then getting out of the flashback, back in the present day, within being inside of the barrier, little did Izuku and Rainer know that they had a little bit of a person trailing them, as this person being Konako Taojo, member of Rias' peerage and Rook of her peerage as well, and also a part of his, homeroom class after all. With then, Konako couldn't help but feel somewhat shivering a bit, especially feeling Izuku's power, saying, he's the White Dragon Emperor. He's already awakened his sacred gear, and he's so powerful. I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to do. This is overwhelming. With then soon, as she tries to not get any attention towards her, within she's soon noticing Izuku picking up Rainer and then flying out of the barrier. Within, Konako couldn't help but be caught off guard and shocked, rushing towards that of Izuku and where he's flying off to, before then the barrier disappears, with even Izuku disappearing as well. With that, Konako couldn't help but be shocked and surprised before pulling out that of her phone and began to call Rias about what just happened. With then, back with Izuku, he used his teleportation magic back into his room with that of Rainer and laid her on his bed. With then, Albion saying, seriously? You brought her here even though she tried to kill you, saying, I need to know. Azazel wouldn't know that I'm here. And when she said that there was a kill order for me, it made no sense. Azazel would never kill me, and he's still waiting on me, saying if I'm willing to join. With then saying, are you? Still debating on that. But even so, I can't just leave her out there to get hurt. This is still devil territory, and if any of the devils find out that she's here, they'll kill her on the spot. I don't want that to happen. With then, soon, Albion sighing, saying, like I told you all those months back, you're too kind-hearted for your own good. But then, Izuku smiling, saying, it's the trait of being a hero. You may call it naive. I just call it the heart of a hero. Simple as that. Any rate, I better make sure to do what I can to heal her for the time being. While doing that, I better get in contact with Azazel and start explaining the situation after all. After heading into that of the kitchen, realizing that his mom is most likely already gone to work at the Kuo Academy Hospital. As for Rainer back in his room, she heard everything that Izuku said alongside that of Albion. But then she's saying, he really does know Lord Azazel. And Lord Azazel knew that the White Dragon Emperor was here? Then that means that letter was a fake. It was forgery. That also means that none. Oh shit. I am so screwed. I don't want to be on Lord Azazel's bad side. I don't want to be seen as a traitor or a rogue. I don't want to die. I want to be loyal. I wanted to show how useful I could be. When I thought this mission was from him and him alone. I would have even taken a mission from that of Lord Shenmazei. And yet, within, Rainer begins to cry and tear up. Not only I lost to a human with a long giant sacred gear, I also feel like I betrayed everything I stood for. I'm so useless. Even though she's still that in pain, she can't help but waddle on her own sadness. Then soon, Izuku coming in saying, I don't think you're pathetic. I just think somebody higher up in the higher ups is just manipulating you. Then soon, Rainer basically wincing in that of fear while also still wincing out in pain as well, saying, hey, lay back down. You're still hurt. Then soon, Izuku blushing, but given that he's been around that of Eika almost all the time, and she does basically, do things to Izuku, but not what you guys are thinking, he still can't help but blush around that of a woman, especially almost half naked with the uniform she's wearing. Then saying, why don't you just kill me? Then saying, like I told you before, I don't kill. That's not what a hero does. Saying, hero, huh? Kid, you do know there's no such thing as heroes. Saying, well, that's exactly what I'm going to be. I'm going to be the hero that I've always wanted to be. A hero that protects the innocent and protect those who can't defend themselves. And right now, I see a girl that was basically manipulated and lied to by somebody she thought that she admired. But I know Azazel too. The guy's not like that. He does tease people and he does do jokes, but not to the point that he would basically manipulate and lie to his subordinates. He also isn't the kind of person to burn bridges as well, especially with sacred gear users. So, if you would like, I want you to help me. Help me tell me what you guys were planning to do in this town, and I'll speak to Azazel, helping you get out of this. What did you say? How would you say? Then Rainer saying, You're not gonna kill me? you're not lying to me. You're not trying to manipulate me, trying to basically do something to my body, are you? I know how you teenage boys are. But then Izuku blushing and basically freaking out saying, no, nothing like that. I would never. Trust me. Especially not without your consent. That's wrong. Then she completely caught off guard saying, wait, you're serious. Then Albion saying, like, Izuku is too much of a pure-hearted boy. Unless it's consensual, he's not going to abuse your body and use it as a plaything. Trust me, he frowns on that thing more than anything, especially in this town. Then looking at Izuku, still blushing, but still nodding his head that he would never do anything to her. Then she couldn't help but sigh, but also couldn't help but smile, saying, I guess I'm lucky that the current White Dragon Emperor is too much of a softie. In the supernatural, it's kill or be killed, or the strong take over the weak. Then Izuku saying, then somebody needs to change it. Change that very idea of the strong lording over the weak. To be honest, it should be the strong protecting those who are the weak, not the other way around. So, Rainer-san, please, help me help you. What do you say? With that, Rainer couldn't help but blush at Izuku. Now getting a better look at the guy. At first, on the papers, he did see that of bland and plain looking with that of a baby face, after all. But now getting closer and seeing on how strong he is, he's not just cute, but also powerful as well. And it basically checks up all of her boxes, to be honest. Then, she's saying, fine, whatever. This is only temporary until you can clear my name to that of Lord Azazel. After that, we're done. Saying, fine, just tell me, what was the mission that you were given? So I can ask Azazel if that's truly a mission that he gave you. Then, Rainer began to fully explain the situation to Izuku. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Love to read them. And yeah, this is the final chapter. We've gone over that of the past of the preview origin chapters for Izuku, how his origin and how he became the White Dragon Emperor, his training days with that of Azazel and the members of Gogori, and how he became the hero of Kuo, Deku, as well. After my little break for this series, I'm going to keep coming back and we're going to be fully going into that of the Fallen Angel arc. As for Izuku joining Rias' peerage, well, it's still happening. It's just that there's going to be a catalyst for Izuku joining the peerage after all. It ain't going to be just her saving his life and her reincarnating him after all. I kind of hate that kind of shit. If anything, I'm a big fan of consent after all. Everybody has a choice if they want to live or they want to die. So yeah, no evil piece taken. So no near-death experience causing that of Rias to save Izuku's life, after all. Also, the people who's going to be joining that of Rias' peerage, well, you see here for yourself. It's that of Ochako and Nejire. I can tell some of you probably thought that Ochako was going to be part of the student council. Nah, not like that. As for her reasonings for being part of the Grummery peerage, I think you can all tell from this chapter alone how she joined Rias' peerage. But I'll go into details in future chapters in due time, so yeah. Also, I need to bring up the elephant in the room, and that's going to be, well, Nejire. I know what some of you may be thinking, oh, what piece is Nejire? Well, how do I say this without pissing off quite a bit of fans, and especially fans of fanboys? Alright, Nejire replaced Gaspar. Yes, I know, it's shocking. And I know that it basically takes away a lot from canon, especially one of Rias' most powerful peerage members. But I have plans for that of Nejire. As for that arc later on in the series about the vampires attacking, which is supposed to be one of Gaspar's biggest, character growth moments in the series, yeah, I'm kind of getting rid of that arc entirely. Mainly, that's only if I think I'm going to get that far, and also because I've seen a lot of fanfics where people just skip the arc entirely, or just basically remove it as well, because some people say that it's completely and utterly pointless. And then after rereading that arc from manga to even light novels, I realized, yeah, it's pointless. It's entirely pointless after all. But don't worry, I have plans for Valerie. Just you guys wait. And if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification key to get my videos when I upload on the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my main channel, my Patreon, my other channel, and my Cash App. All linked in the description below if I'm not too lazy to do so. So, with all that said, this is Mookie, signing out. Later, guys, and hope you all take care.